Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to this channel, my name is Frank Zhu and I'm a college professor teaching sociology, history and philosophy. I'm also an award-winning landscape photographer. Christmas, which is December the 25th, is just around the corner. So, I think now is a good time to make a video talking about Christmas, its origin, history, and how it is celebrated differently from Thanksgiving here in America. But before I get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to send my greetings to each and every one of you. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Christmas is one of the most celebrated holidays in the world. As a matter of fact, it is one of the two holidays celebrated by the largest numbers of people around the world, the other one being the Chinese New Year. For Christians, Christmas is a sacred day because it refers to the birthday of Jesus Christ, who they believe is the incarnation of God. For non-Christians, Christmas may not be sacred, but it is a huge cultural and commercial phenomenon in many parts of the world. For nearly 2,000 years, Christmas has been observed with traditions and practices that are both religious and sacred in nature. Christians celebrate the anniversary of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, while non-Christians celebrate the culture, family, and food. By the way, if you are not sure about how Jesus of Nazareth became Christ and you don't know the meaning of the word Christ, you may want to watch one of my videos about Christianity. I will leave a link down below. Please check it out. We know that Christmas is in December, and December is in the middle of winter. You may wonder why many big holidays are celebrated in winter time, such as the Hanukkah, which is a Jewish holiday, the Bodhi Day, which is a Buddhist holiday, and the Chinese New Year, which is usually celebrated at the end of winter. Well, there are two reasons. First, traditionally, winter was a season when people had more free time than any other season. After the busy harvest in autumn, there was a little farm work to do in winter. Secondly, festivals give people opportunities to come together and cheer up one another so that the cold, dark, and long winter days do not seem so miserable. In Northern Europe, for example, long before Christianity, people had celebrated light and birth in the darkest days of winter. For them, the winter solstice was a good time for celebration because it symbolized the beginning of the end of the harsh winter. By taking part in all kinds of festival activities, they were looking forward to longer days of beautiful sunlight. The end of December was also a perfect time for celebration for another reason. At this time of the year, most cattle were slaughtered so that they would not have to be fed during winter. For many people, it was the only time of the year when they had a supply of fresh meat. So for all of these reasons, it is not surprising that winter was chosen to have holidays in many parts of the world. And Christmas was no exception. Christianity has a lot to do with the ancient Roman culture and traditions because it all started during the Roman Empire. For example, it was the Roman Emperor Constantine who made it the official religion of the whole empire. And thanks to the extensive networks of the empire, the new religion spread far and fast. But Even before Rome became an empire, and before Christianity was born, and way before Christmas was celebrated, the Romans had been celebrating many holidays, most of which were in winter time. Among the holidays, the most important was perhaps the Saturnalia, in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture. The celebrations usually lasted for a whole month around the winter solstice and reached the climax on December the 25th. The holiday was so important that business and schools were closed so that everybody could participate in the holiday's festivities. Under this environment, Christians naturally adopt many Roman traditions. As I shall explain later on, Saturnalia became the predecessor of Christmas. Christmas was not a festival in the early years of Christianity. For a long time, Christians only celebrated Easter as the main festival. This was largely because there is no mentioning in the Bible about the birth date of Jesus. In the 4th century, however, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday in order to unite Christians and promote Christianity. The question which the church officials were facing was, what day should they put as the birthday of Jesus, since the Bible, which was their highest authority, didn't say anything about it? Common sense would dictate that Jesus' birthday should be sometime in spring. Why? Well, if you are familiar with the Bible, you should know that it was shepherds who first learned of Jesus' birth and spread the news. And common sense tells us that shepherds would not herd sheep in the middle of winter. They would only come out in spring. So, Jesus must have been born in spring and not in winter, according to common sense. However, in spite of the common sense, the church chose December the 25th anyway. The reason was simple. The church leaders were attempting to adopt and absorb the traditions of the Saturnalia festival. They were hoping that by holding Christmas at the same time as Saturnalia, it would increase the chances that Christianity as a new faith would be popularly embraced by ordinary people. In the history of Christianity, Christmas was not always celebrated every year. In the early 17th century, for example, it was cancelled in many parts of Europe as a result of the Protestant Reformation, which was a religious movement to challenge the authority of the Catholic Church. Here in America, for several decades after the Pilgrims arrived in 1620, the celebration of Christmas was outlawed in Boston because the Pilgrims were part of the Protestant Reformation. However, Christmas was celebrated in other colonies such as Jamestown, which was the first permanent settlement by the English. After America became independent, English customs fell out of favor, including Christmas. Nonetheless, it was still randomly celebrated by Christians throughout the new nation. It was not until 1870 that Christmas was declared a federal holiday when it was signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant in an attempt to unite North and South after the Civil War. The story of Christmas will not be complete without mentioning Santa Claus. The legendary story of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk by the name Saint Nicholas, who was born in Turkey around 280 CE. According to legends, he gave away all of his inherited wealth and traveled the country, helping the poor and sick. He was especially well known for protecting and helping young children. The story of Saint Nicholas first entered American popular culture in the late 18th century. It was initially only popular in some communities, and the name Saint Nicholas was pronounced differently in different immigrant communities. In Dutch, for example, it became Saint Nicolaas or Santa Claus for short. It was from this abbreviation that Santa Claus eventually got his name. In 1822, Clement Clarke Moore, a famous poet, wrote a poem entitled An Account of a Visit from Saint Nicholas as a Gift for His Children. The poem depicted Santa Claus as a jolly man who flies from home to home on a shed driven by reindeer to deliver toys to children. People loved the poem so much that it was printed and reprinted in different newspapers many times. As a result, the story of Santa Claus became popular as well. This version of Santa Claus as a jolly man in red with a white beard and a sack of toys became even more popular in 1883, when the famous cartoonist Thomas Nast drew an image of Santa Claus based on this poem. The image appeared on a popular magazine called Harper's Weekly. Since then, it has become an iconic symbol of Christmas. America is a very religious country. In fact, it is more religious than most other Western nations. The majority of those religious people are either Protestants or Catholics. For those religious people, Christmas has remained a religious holiday, when church services are offered with more festival atmosphere. In spite of the constitutional rule that church and state should be separated, Christmas is a national holiday in America, which means everyone, regardless of their religious faith or non-religious faith, everybody has a day off from work, and the schools are closed so that children don't have to go to school. Over the years, Christmas has become more and more secularized, to such an extent that many people do not associate it with Christianity anymore. It is now just a holiday during which people enjoy themselves in various ways. In America, Christmas remains the most important day, followed by Thanksgiving. However, it is interesting to note that there are more people who travel to join the families during Thanksgiving than during Christmas. In my experience and according to my observations, Thanksgiving is more family-focused, while Christmas is more community-focused, which is reflected by the fact that people take part in more outdoor activities during Christmas than during Thanksgiving. First, even weeks before Christmas, people start getting busy decorating their homes, yards, and streets with lights, wreaths, candy canes, snowmen, and more. If you go out at night during Christmas, you will see the entire street or neighborhood illuminated by lights of different shapes and beautiful colors. Secondly, Christmas is celebrated by giving gifts to each other. This tradition is most important for small children, who will leave stockings on their bedside on Christmas Eve, hoping that Santa Claus will come in at night while they are asleep and fill the stockings with their favorite toys. Thirdly, it is a time when people send greeting cards to family and friends, although sending cards nowadays has been largely replaced by texting greetings via the phone. Finally, just like any other festival such as the Chinese New Year, eating is an important part. Christmas provides an opportunity for family members to get together and eat a large meal, which often includes turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, stuffing, cranberry sauce, and vegetables. For dessert, pies, cookies, and cakes are common. Well, that was the story and a brief history of Christmas. I hope you found this video informative and interesting. If you did, please give me a thumb up. It really means a lot to me. My thanks go to each and every one of you for supporting this channel. I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I wish you a very happy holiday season.